Uh, Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press and members of the senior management team, Civil Service Agency. We'd like to welcome all of you, our good friends from the media. I'm one of your own, Fafli Kamara. I'm here along with members of the communication team, Tilda, Usman, and all other members of. I'd like to welcome you to the Civil Service Agency. Today is a major press conference that will be addressed by the Director General of the Civil Service Agency, the Chairman of the Board, the President's Young Professional Program, and Chairman of the Health and Public Service Network of Africa, HAPSNA. Dr. Jokai, welcome to the media. The press is all yours.
Thank you, Vafli. Mr. Edwin K. Jala, our Director of General Administration, and as you know, Mr. Jala was just nominated by the President as Deputy Director General for Human Resource Management and Policy, and other senior officials of the Civil Service Agency, distinguished members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasant good afternoon and warm welcome to the Civil Service Agency. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this important press conference convened to provide the Liberian people with a comprehensive update on ongoing reforms, institutional development, employees' welfare initiatives, decentralization efforts, governance interventions, and international engagements being undertaken by the Civil Service Agency in fulfillment of its statutory mandate. Transparency and accountability require that public institutions regularly communicate with the people whom they serve. Today, we are pleased to report tangible progress in strengthening Liberia's public service and improving the systems, structures, and institutions across the country. At the outset, I wish to express profound gratitude to His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr., the President of the Republic of Liberia, whose unwavering commitment to public sector reform, institutional strengthening, accountability, transparency, and decentralization continues to provide the policy direction necessary for the transformation of Liberia's civil service. Under the President's leadership, the Civil Service Agency has accelerated reforms aimed at building a professional, merit-based, efficient, ethical, accountable, and citizen-centered public service capable of delivering quality services to all Liberians. I also extend sincere appreciation to the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Honorable Augustine Kwehe-Gafuan. His leadership, timely and steadfast support to public sector modernization has significantly contributed to the achievements being recorded by the Civil Service Agency. The strong partnership between the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning and the Civil Service Agency has enabled the successful implementation of several strategic initiatives that are improving governance, strengthening institutional capacity, and enhancing service delivery throughout Liberia. Without the ministry's continued budgetary support, many of the accomplishments being announced here today would not have been possible. The Civil Service Agency recognizes that improving public service delivery begins with creating modern, functional, and efficient work environment for public servants. Over the years, unreliable electric, inadequate internet connectivity, and transportation challenges have affected operational effectiveness. As part of our commitment to addressing these constraints, the agency has undertaken several strategic interventions. On behalf of the senior management team of the CSA, I am pleased to announce that the Civil Service Agency has procured a brand new 200 kVA Perkins generator, which has already been delivered and is currently being installed at headquarters. The investment will provide a reliable alternative source of electricity, reduce disruptions caused by power outages, protect critical digital infrastructure, and ensure uninterrupted service delivery to citizens and government institutions that depend on the agency's services. In addition, the Civil Service Agency has completed arrangements for the installation of a Starlink internet system throughout the headquarters building. The installation is expected to be completed on Monday, June 22, 2026. Upon completion, all employees at headquarters will have access to reliable, high-speed internet services. This intervention will improve internal communication, facilitate online services, support digital transformation initiatives, strengthen human resource management systems, improve access to information, and increase productivity throughout the institution. The agency has also made substantial investments in improving transportation. I am pleased to announce the procurement of 6 vehicles comprising 4 vehicles SUVs for senior management and 2 additional buses for our dedicated employees, making it a total of 3 buses. 3 of these vehicles have already been delivered, while the remaining 3 are expected to arrive next week upon completion of payment processing currently underway at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. For many years, transportation has remained one of the most persistent challenges confronting the agency. These acquisitions will improve employee mobility, strengthen field operations, support compliance monitoring, facilitate nationwide reform activities, and enhance overall institutional effectiveness. One of the most important pillars of President Bouakar's governance agenda is decentralization. This is evident by the robust implementation of the Liberia Decentralization Policy and Local Government Act of 2018. The Civil Service Agency fully supports the national vision and remains committed to ensuring that public servants across Liberia can access quality services without having to travel to Monrovia. For decades, many civil servants residing outside Montserrat County have experienced significant difficulties accessing essential civil service services. This reality has imposed unnecessary financial and administrative burdens on employees and institutions. To address these challenges, the Civil Service Agency has intensified efforts to establish strong regional presence. I am pleased to announce that the renovation of the agency's Western Region office has been successfully completed. The office will serve public servants residing in Bomi, Grand Cape Mount, and Bapolu counties. The renovated facility will be officially dedicated on Thursday, June 18, 2026, by the Honorable Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Augustine Pehe Gaffon. This facility will bring critical services closer to thousands of public servants and significantly reduced the need for travel to Monrovia. In Grand Jide County, the Civil Service Agency has secured 2 acres of land in Zwedru for the construction of the Southeastern Regional Office. This generous contribution was made by Honorable Alex Chersier Grant, Superintendent of Grand Jide County, on behalf of the county, administration, and the people of Grand Jide. Recognizing the strategic importance of southeastern Liberia and the considerable distance between the region and Monrovia, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning has committed to making funding available for the construction of this regional office. The facility will serve Grand Jide, River G, Maryland, and Sano counties. Similarly, Honorable Hawa Lordia Norris, Superintendent of Bong County, has allocated 2 acres of land in the heart of Banga City for the construction of the Civil Service Agency Central Regional Headquarters. The groundbreaking ceremony will take place on Friday, June 19, 2026. The office will serve as a major regional hub for civil service administration and public sector support services. Likewise, Honorable Kanye Johnson, Superintendent of Grand Bassa County, has allocated 2 acres of land for the construction of a regional office in Buchanan to serve Grand Bassa and Riverside counties. The Civil Service Agency will engage the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning regarding funding support for this important project. Collectively, these initiatives represent a historic investment in decentralization and demonstrate our commitment to bringing government services directly closer to the people. The Civil Service Agency is pleased to officially announce that the 2026 National Public Service Day celebrations will be held on June 23, 2026 in the historic city of Saniquale, Nimba County. This decision is deliberate and forms part of our broader decentralization strategy aimed at taking national events, public programs, and government services directly to the people. For 2 major national events have remained concentrated in Monrovia and Montserrado County. As a government committed to inclusiveness and equitable development, we believe every county deserves the opportunity to host and participate in important national activities. On behalf of the Civil Service Agency, I extend sincere congratulations and appreciation to Honorable Carl Miape Gono, the Superintendent of Nimba County and Chairperson of the National Council of Superintendents of Liberia, and to the wonderful people of Nimba County for graciously accepting to host this year's Public Service Day program. We are particularly honored that the historic city of Saniquale will host this important global observance. Each ministry, agency, and commission will be represented by its institutional head and 5 employees each. And let me inform you that many of the institutions have gone beyond the 5 numbers. The 5 number, some have already designated 10, some have designated 12, and we have received more than 40 confirmations, meaning Saniquale is going to be besieged and Liberians are going to celebrate this historic event in grand style. Momentum is high, as several institutions have already confirmed, as I indicated, their participation and preparations are progressing very smoothly. We are deeply honored that His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr., Liberia's distinguished and longest-serving public servant, will serve as special guest of honor and deliver the keynote address. The event will also recognize deserving public servants and institutions whose impeccable character in public service, commitment to duty, innovation, and professionalism on the job have contributed significantly to national development and improve service delivery in our beloved nation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the noble press, integrity, professionalism, confidentiality, and accountability remain of an effective public service. Accordingly, I am pleased to announce that the final version of the Government of Liberia's confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement has been reviewed and approved by Councillor N. Oswald Toy, Senior Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Republic of Liberia. Following this approval, the Civil Service Agency has immediately commenced the nationwide rollout and implementation of the agreement across the public sector. To ensure adequate implementation time, the Civil Service Agency has established July 31, 2026 as the deadline for full compliance. Accordingly, all ministries, agencies, and commissions and other public institutions are hereby directed to ensure that all employees execute and sign the approved confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement, maintain proper records and documentation of all signed agreements through their human resource management officers, and submit compliance reports, including scanned copies of completed agreements, to the Civil Service Agency on or before July 31, 2026. This initiative forms part of the government's broader effort to strengthen ethical conduct, safeguard confidential information, promote responsible stewardship of public resources, and reinforce public trust in government institutions. The Civil Service Agency counts on the full cooperation of all institutions in implementing this important policy directive. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the Civil Service Agency wishes to inform the public that the government of Liberia will undertake the 2026 retirement exercise for public servants who have attained retirement age or qualify for retirement on account of ill health in accordance with the pension law of Liberia. The retirement exercise was not conducted in 2025 due to substantial backlogs inherited from previous phases that require processing, reconciliation, verification, and administrative review. For the 2026 exercise, the Civil Service Agency has identified more than 6,000 employees for retirement consideration. The names of affected employees are currently being communicated to the respective spending entities. The Ministries of Education and Health account for more than 4,000 of those identified. Recognizing the critical role these institutions play in delivering essential services, they will be permitted to submit priority retention lists for highly specialized personnel whose services may be required for 1 or 2 additional years to facilitate smooth transitions and continuity in service delivery. By commencing the process early, the government is providing employees with sufficient time to prepare for retirement while enabling institutions to undertake effective succession planning and workforce renewal. Retirement represents a well-deserved recognition of years of dedicated service to the Republic of Liberia, and the government remains committed to ensuring that retirees transition with dignity, honor, and appreciation. Fellow citizens, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, the legal power of attorney, the LPA scheme, remains one of the government of Liberia's most historic and impactful employee empowerment initiatives. Since 2025, the Civil Service Agency has implemented significant reforms that have transformed the scheme from a largely manual process into a fully automated and digital platform. These reforms have improved transparency, accountability, efficiency, accessibility, and processing speed. Prior to these reforms, approximately 2,500 to 4,000 employees had benefited from the scheme. Today, enrollment has increased to 9,416 employees as we hold this press conference today. Additionally, 1,149 transactions have been processed, representing an aggregate credit value of $587,486.16 United States. These achievements reflect the government's commitment to improving the welfare and financial well-being of public servants. However, the Civil Service Agency remains deeply concerned that certain spending entities continue to deny eligible employees access to this important benefit. In some instances, institutions with more than 500 enrolled employees have failed to process a single application. Such actions undermine government policy and unfairly deny employees access to up to 33.3% of their earned salaries through this long-standing initiative, which is by law. Accordingly, all human resource directors are hereby reminded of their obligation to facilitate the full participation of eligible employees in the scheme. Human resource directors who deliberately refuse to process or recommend legitimate applications submitted by eligible employees shall be subject to administrative sanctions in accordance with the standing orders for the civil service. Such sanctions shall include suspension without pay for 1 month. Continued non-compliance may result in additional administrative actions, including restrictions on payroll-related transactions and other disciplinary measures deemed necessary by the Civil Service Agency. This communication serves as the final warning to all human resource directors regarding this matter. The Civil Service Agency remains very committed to protecting the rights and welfare of public servants while ensuring compliance with established government policies. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am pleased to announce that Liberia successfully chaired and participated in the third high-level meeting and sitting of the Health and Public Service Network of Africa held in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. The inaugural meeting was held in Monrovia in 2024. The second sitting was held in Kigali, Rwanda. The third sitting brought together delegations from Liberia, Côte d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, the Gambia, Senegal, Ghana, Benin, Nigeria, and the Central African Republic. The meeting also benefited from participation and technical support of the Health Development Partnership for Africa and the Caribbean, HEDPAC, represented by experts from Ethiopia and Rwanda. The government of La Côte d'Ivoire demonstrated extraordinary commitment by fielding a delegation of 12 senior officials, including the Minister of State for Public Service Modernization, the Minister of Health, and the Director of the Cabinet, among others. On the sidelines of the meeting, I had the privilege and honor of meeting with His Excellency Robert Begré Mambé, Prime Minister of La Côte d'Ivoire. The Prime Minister reaffirmed his government's support for the HAPSNA initiative and committed to facilitating a ministerial meeting of African ministers responsible for health and public or civil service in Yamoussoukro, La Côte d'Ivoire. The ministerial meeting will review, validate, and adopt the HAPSNA policy package and delivery maturity index frameworks for assessing and strengthening primary healthcare systems and public service delivery across Africa. Following its adoption, I, as chair of the Health and Public Service Network of Africa, will formally present the frameworks to His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr., the president of the current chair of the network, with the objective of positioning Liberia to champion the HAPSNA into ECOWAS and the African Union structures. This achievement further strengthens Liberia's reputation as a regional leader in public sector reform, governance innovation, and health workforce advancement. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, as you are aware, following the resignation of Honorable Darlington A.P. Smith, His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr. has nominated Mr. Edwin K. Jala as Deputy Director General for Human Resource Management and Policy of the Civil Service Agency. Mr. Jala is a highly accomplished public administration and human resource management professional with more than 18 years of distinguished service at the Civil Service Agency. Having worked closely with him since my appointment as Director General, I can personally attest to his professionalism, institutional knowledge, technical competence, integrity, hard work, and unwavering commitment to public service. His nomination reflects the President's commitment to competence, experience, professionalism, and continuity in public leadership. I congratulate Mr. Jala and wish him success as he prepares to assume this important responsibility. Members of the noble journalism profession, in conclusion, the Civil Service Agency of Liberia remains steadfast in its commitment to building up accountable, efficient, ethical, liberalized public service that effectively responds to the needs of the Liberian people. The reforms and initiatives announced today demonstrate our determination to modernize public institutions, strengthen governance systems, improve employee welfare, deepen decentralization, and bring government services closer to the people than ever. The journey toward a transformed public service is ongoing, but the progress we are witnessing today confirms that we are moving in the right direction. Together, through partnership, innovation, discipline, accountability, and commitment, we will continue building a public service that reflects the highest standards of professionalism and excellence. We remain grateful to His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr. for his visionary leadership and unwavering support. We thank the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning under the leadership of Honorable Augustine Pehe-Gaffon for its continued partnership and support. May God bless the Civil Service Agency. May God bless all of our noble public servants. And indeed, may God continue to bless our beloved and cherished nation, the Republic of Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Of the Civil Service Agency of Liberia. I would like to several developments of the agency.
Will entertain 5 questions. Please be direct to the question. I know everyone will not have the opportunity to ask, but we will try as much as possible to prioritize those who will recognize. So I will begin with the State Radio, ELBC. Please call your name and the institution you represent.
Thank you so much. My name is William Howard, and I work for the State Radio. Honorable DG, my question is about the announcement you made about several land being made available for the construction and renovation of sub-offices. Do you mind telling us any time soon, how soon do we start to roll out these plans?
Am I taking question by question? Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, so I'm going to break it down for you so you understand better the way it's working. We are breaking grounds Friday in Banga City, Bong County, for the regional headquarters. Money is available already. The government has made the money available. The Ministry of Finance made the appropriation in the budget, and it was approved. And the groundbreaking is going to happen as we speak to you. Materials have been transported to Banga City by the company that was selected through the established procurement process. And so that is clear. It's no longer about whether or not it's going to happen. It's happening, and it's going to be completed. In Zuedru, Grand Jide County, the land was allocated, and in fact, at the civil compound, the administrative compound, if ever you've been there in an Adieu place, while walking towards the main building, the administrative building, you have land on your right side and you have land on the left side. The road divides them. In fact, you used to have NASCOP's building there, but I think it got affected or hit by fire or something got destroyed. But on the left side is a free land space. That's right there. We're having the 2 acres provided by the superintendent and people of Grand Jide. That land has been surveyed. The drawings, the request, proposal, everything is right now at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. The ministry has committed to making the money available. And the reason why they did that, because Grand Jide has a significant distance, a huge distance from Monterey. And every day we receive, I will speak to you, there are people downstairs from the southeast, either from River G, from Grand Jide, they are here for HR-related matters. So once the headquarters is constructed in Zuedru, which we intend to do this year and probably complete it in the first quarter of next year, construction and dedicate. Once the resources are made available, as the Ministry of Finance has committed, those people will cease to travel to Monrovia. And you know what that means for them. They'll be saving money. They'll be saving the hurdles of traveling. From River G, they just run to Zuedru. From Maryland, run to Zuedru. From Sano, run to Zuedru. And all the services we're providing, our headquarters will be replicated at our regional office. In Bekena, the process of survey is ongoing. We have not identified or secured the funding for Grand Bassa yet. But we are going to initiate the conversation with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. If we are lucky to get the resources, and I say lucky because budget has been executed, budget was passed. So we're not too sure that we could find the money from other sources or if there's a cushion until the Ministry of Finance confirms that. But we are hoping that the Ministry of Finance does. If that happens, then Buchanan will be in the queue for the construction. But we also graciously received 2 acres of land allocated by Grand Bassa County. All these land spaces were inspected, and as I said, the 2 have been surveyed. There's Bong, there's Grand Jide. The one in Grand Bassa, arrangements are being made for that to be surveyed, and we are on course. So I thought to break down what's happening in each region so that you better understand.
Right. DN News.
Thank you, DG. My name is Strogon Flammer and I work for DN News. Thank you for the development so far. But I have a concern when you said that there's new policy you're going to introduce, the policy that has to do with confidentiality for civil servants. We already have this existing policy about whistleblower that civil servants are also given the opportunity to report on issues that are, maybe corruption related issues and all of that. And now you're bringing this new policy, confidentiality policy, doesn't undermine the whistleblower at all. Will it not, threaten civil servants to not speak out anymore?
Excellent question. And the fight is that the non-disclosure agreement does not in any way undermine established way. NDA is normal and is conventional in every institution, public and private. All we are trying to do is to bring sanity and order to public service. The Witness Protection Agency, the Ombudsman, the Independent Information Commission, they are all significantly captured in the NDA. Their roles are defined. In fact, the NDA is supporting established structures to be used by people who have information to share. All we are saying, it should be orderly done, and it should be in keeping with law and policy. There is no contravention, no deviation. That's why the Civil Service Agency did not undertake this by itself. When it was drafted, it was forwarded officially to the Ministry of Justice. The Ministry of Justice reviewed and made its inputs and forwarded the approved copy to be implemented by the Civil Service Agency. So there's no contravention of any law whatsoever or policy whatsoever. We are very much on course with that.
Before Pran, we will take Punch because Punch question is
it's a follow-up to Trocon's question. So I want to know what incident that led to this introduction of the NDA, a specific incident.
There is no specific incident. When I worked for DMT Solutions Global Corporation, and I was qualified, having gone through all the recruitment formalities, signing the NDA was a requirement, not an option. Otherwise, I wouldn't take the job. I signed it. Here in Liberia, when you are hired by institutions, you sign agreement. There are policies to abide by the laws governing the institutions. We don't have issues with that, but it's conventional. We are not doing anything in isolation of conventional practices. This is consistent with decent and orderly practice in the public or private sector workspace.
Thank you very much, DG. Allow me to quick short follow-up with the 2 questions.
Your name first.
My main question. My name is Arthur B.A. and I report for Prime FM.
Thank you.
DG, with the non-disclosure agreement, any civil servant, the failure to sign that document, would there be penalty? I'd like to know that in follow-up to that. You talk about bringing the government services closer to people, the decentralization plan. But I know you talk about regional office, but you take sign to Sweden as a distance. Are you having any plan in the future to further decentralize from the regional office services for government down
We have to do it step by step. So if we even put the regional office in Sano, those in Zwedru, we have to travel to Sano. It makes no difference. If we put it in Sano, we have to come to River G. Those in Zwedru, we have to come to River G. So the point we're trying to make, the CSA regional office has been and is still in Zwedru. That's how it was mapped. So all we are trying to do is now to own it as a government. As it stands right now, and thank you for the question, it makes me to even provide additional information. Our offices in those regions are being leased by the government. The government is spending money annually on private buildings for civil service delivery across the country. And many of those homes, if you see them right now, the way they look like private homes. They don't even look like offices. And they cannot even accommodate all of our services. They don't have the space, and the situation, the location of those places are not even ideal for the kind of services that we deliver. So we are now taking ownership as a government. We are having our own facility. We are going to have our own facilities. We are going to have conference centers that we will be operating, and they will be servicing those centers. So there is sustainability plan to that. So yes, when you ask a question about that, distance matters. But how about comparing the distance from Sano, from Greenville to Monrovia? How about comparing the distance from Greenville to Zwedru? Which one is better? How about comparing the distance from Maryland, from Harper to Monrovia? How about comparing it to Zwedru? So it is in a region that makes it a regional arrangement, and services can be provided. But here's where I agree with you. Once we succeed in setting up the regional offices, we'll definitely be thinking about county offices. Definitely. So we have to go orderly. There has to be step by step. We cannot spread thinly. If we want to do regional offices and do county offices at the same time, that's not possible. It's not conceivable. We can't embark on that. It's not sensible. So the best thing to do is to have the regional offices. And then as they become fully operational, then we can think about county offices. And that's the way we want to proceed. But coming to the non-disclosure agreement, again, as I said, I repeat, non-disclosure agreement is a requirement for any decent public or private sector institution. So people who don't abide by non-disclosure agreement, you got to say why you don't abide by it. Then it means that in fact, fundamentally, you have a problem. Because it's only telling you that these are the steps and procedures and rules that you have to follow to access, to read these, to share information, which is orderly. That's all. But in the event that somebody does not abide by that, the non-disclosure agreement provides for penalties. What's supposed to be done? It is none decided by Josiah Joker as Director General or any of my deputies or any of the members of the senior leadership. It is clearly enshrined. That is why the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice review, and the wisdom of the Ministry of Justice decided that it was apt, it was appropriate to be introduced and implemented. And that's why we're implementing it. Thank you.
Lastly, my main question, sir. So with the more than 6,000 civil servants
to be retired.
Mm-hmm. In 2024, we started
we retire a little over 1,000.
There are reports, and we confirm some of the reports, that some civil servants who retire, whether it's resistant or hesitant to leave the service. In their mind, they still got the first shot. 6,000 learn a new method.
No new lesson learned, no new method. And the reason is simple. Your observation is flawed. It's not true that you confirm any irregularities with the 2024 retirement process. 2024 was one of the best ever in the retirement initiative of the country. We started collaboratively with NASCOP. We had joint technical team. We established hubs across the country. And we had civil servants who voluntarily went to those hubs. We did not even establish listings as we are doing. They voluntarily went to the hubs and decided to be retired. They went there and submitted. They were counseled over a long period of time. We had people at SKD. We had people at the Monrovia Vocational Training Center. In Nima County, we have people in Saniquile, in Ganta, and different places. In Lofa County, we have people in Vonchema, in Zozo, in Salaye. They counsel for like almost 2 months. Counsel people. It was just open and counselors were there. Technicians from CSA, NASCOP were there on a daily basis, receiving people, counseling them. The first thing we did in 2024 when we took over, we reformed the C1 form. The C1 form made my late stepmother never to get her retirement benefit to get on a pension scheme. Because the C1 form used to be the devil that used to chase people away from retirement. We were never able to complete the C1 form. It was almost like an encyclopedia. But you know what we did with the C1 form when we took over? We reformed it to like 2.5 pages, which you can complete in 6-7 minutes. So people came, they didn't even have to complete C1 form. So what we did, we counseled and we did data collection. We collected all their data. On their behalf, we came here at CSA, it was very small. We came at CSA with the matrices, with all the data. And we filled the C1 forms for them. We attached their pictures. And we called them, they signed. And we submitted to NASCOP. NASCOP smoothly transitioned them straightly to the pension payroll. The CSA was magnanimous to say that we are not removing a single one of them from the payroll until they start to receive their pension salaries. We did that. So fundamentally, your information you gave about observing what you reported was flawed and was incorrect. And I wanted to say that. But so the same process, the same model is going to continue for the 2026 retirement. And this is what we are doing. The health and the education sectors are very critical. So we are not going to impose the law or enforce the law. Impose is the wrong word. Enforce the law as it is. What we're going to do is to allow the ministry to send us the priority listings, the 2 ministries. John Brown is a specialist in primary health care. John Brown has a team, the retirement age, but John Brown is healthy and strong, and we still need John Brown for 2 years. CSA is going to give that dispensation in keeping with law. The Director General has the right in keeping with the standing orders to give that dispensation. That John Brown stays on for 1 or 2 years for succession planning to transition somebody who is prepared in that role before John Brown can be retired. Even though John Brown meets the retirement age, but if the Ministry of Health or Education makes the request, which they are about to do because we have submitted the listings per entity to all of them. They will look at it and tell us which is which and send back to us. The ones that were sent to us are the ones we will work with them to retire. So the process is meticulous. We are cautious and mindful, and we have to make sure that the people who are retired are appropriately retired. And those who can still serve our nation, especially in those 2 sectors, remain for 1 or 2 years as we work with those institutions through succession planning to move them, retire them, and move people, the new ones, into those roles. Thank you.
We'll take the last question from front page.
My name is Edwin Shinoe, I work for Foundation. And I'm interested in the purchasing of this.
All the vehicles.
So I would like to know the purchase prices for those vehicles and who purchase them. And why is it important to purchase vehicles for all of pricing delays of the CSE?
Over pricing demand?
Pricing.
You mean pressing, PRESSING?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Priorities of the CSE.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so,
how is that true? That we are prioritizing purchasing or procuring vehicles over priorities? No, I mean, how is that true? Just give me a classic example. Give me one example that is a priority that we are taking. Like what? Like what, for example?
Okay, so do you have another
question? Okay, you can still come back to ask your question.
So, the questions.
No, but you have not asked that question yet.
So I just asked the question.
No, you have not. You have not given me a priority area that we are not prioritizing.
I'm interested in the purchase of the vehicle.
What do you want to know about it?
I want to know who are the person or the vendor that is purchasing the vehicle, and why now?
Why now what?
that the vehicle are being purchased or procured.
I might ask you why not.
So
I'm the Director General of the Civil Service Agency. I'm answering our question, then we'll go to the next question. I want to be very effective in responding to your question. I'm the Director General of the Civil Service Agency. As these people, the vehicle I used from 2024 to last month because I received government vehicle last month since I was appointed as Director General. The vehicle I use is my private vehicle. The only thing we did on that vehicle was to put the government license plate on it. Because the vehicle that was assigned to me was a black Kia vehicle that was bought around 2013, 2014 as a project vehicle. 2013, 2014, think about that. As I drove that vehicle and climbed the hill to Congo Town, it broke down. As I drove down the hill to go to EW Junction, it broke down. Will that facilitate my work as Director General when I have to go to cabinet, when I have to go to meeting, when I'm cited by the legislature, I have to be there on time, when I have to hold sector meetings? The CEO has responsibility for 109 spending entities. The Deputy Director General, the same case. The vehicles were bought at the same time. 2013, 2014, the PSMP project. That's when those vehicles were bought. Those are the kinds of vehicles that were given to us. So I simply took the government plate and put it on my private vehicle that I use to facilitate my work from 2024 till now. So, and you ask, why purchase vehicle? So that question, I'm still trying to find a relevance in that question. And that was making it a little bit difficult for me to comprehend. But again, I needed to respond to let you know. But the chemistry of how it's purchased through the same procurement process that you know. You are a journalist. You work for one of the critical media institutions in this country. You are aware of the procurement processes and the procurement regime of the government. Purchasing vehicle is not like going to buy a bag of candy in a supermarket. Purchasing a vehicle goes through an established procurement regime. And if you want to get that information, it's very easy and simple to get it. PPCC, go to the website. It's public information. It's not for the Director General. It is not in my place to be asking for the prices of vehicle. Government established prices of vehicle for different category of officials. And they are purchasing those vehicles in keeping with those established policies. So unfortunately, I tried to answer your question. I hope I did. I didn't disappoint you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the press. It has been a pleasure being here with you at CSA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure and honor having you. Thank you. Right.
Just for the